Good morning, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Katie and welcome to Amend and Nourish. Today I want to take you on a tour through my garden for our very first garden tour of 2023. So let's get this started. Our first row is strawberries. This one is 4 foot wide by 12 feet long. I started this bed first with bare roots I purchased online. None of them grew, so I did get some starts from Walmart. These are called a hula berry. They're supposed to taste like pineapple. However, I didn't get a single berry last year. The other half is some strawberries I had in a pot around the house that I got from a neighbor. Not sure on the variety of those. They did produce very well in the pot, but once I moved them into the raised bed, I didn't get a single berry as well. So I may be moving these strawberries and utilizing this bed a little differently this year. All right, moving on in the back row. This is also a 4 foot wide by 12 foot long bed. This I had the green globe artichokes in here last year, and I do have one little sage plant. This is a perennial here in our area. I'm planning on utilizing this bed a little bit better this year, and I'm gonna plant my peppers here. This next bed in the back row of our raised bed garden, this one is 4 foot wide by 16 feet long. We did our onions in this bed last year. I started Walla Wallas, White Snowball, and Red Baron. We did decently. We had enough stored for about 5 months, so I say we did pretty well. This year I'm planning on doing more pepper plants here, and I'm gonna try my onions next to the tomatoes and those beds. There's a little extra space there, either with some sets purchased or hopefully our onion seed experiments will work. Moving towards the center of the back row, we have 2 smaller beds. These are both 4 foot wide by 8 feet long. This I had broccoli here last year, and I'm also planning to do broccoli here again this year. We do get a little bit of shade from the trees up above, which does help the broccoli stay a little bit cooler when it does start to get hot out. And over here I did our cantaloupe. We started the Oregon Delicious variety, which is very delicious. It did really well here, so I'm gonna try to do those again this year. And on this trellis here, we did a lot of our green beans, and I'm gonna plan to do green beans there again this year. All right, this bed is the center of the raised bed in the back row. It is 4 foot wide by 16 feet long. I had all of my cabbage in here last year. I grew the red acre and the golden acre cabbage. It did really well here. So I'm planning on doing cabbage here as well. And the varieties I have are the exact same, so we should be good to go for cabbage. Next up, we have our washing station. This is located in the back row towards the center of the raised bed garden. This is so cool. My husband and father-in-law made this. I can rinse and clean all of our veggies before I take them inside to process. Way less mess inside, more mess outside is ideal for me. All right, moving on. We have 2 smaller beds. These are both 4 foot wide by 8 foot long. This bed had our cauliflower and a couple random cabbage plants last year. I will be doing just cauliflower in this bed this year. This bed had watermelon. I planted way too many watermelon plants in here last year. I will only do 1 or 2 this year. And then peas on this trellis, which will also have peas again this year. Okay, next up we have our asparagus bed. I planted bare roots last year. We did the Mary Washington on this half, and the front half is the Jersey Giants. So I'm already seeing a couple little sprouts of asparagus. I might take a couple this year. I don't know, we'll see. I was supposed to wait 1 more year, but I might have to have a little snack. And I do have a couple parsley bushes down here. And there are a couple little rogue strawberry plants that I will be taking up and moving elsewhere. All right, the last two beds here in the back row of our raised bed garden. These are both 4 foot wide by 20 feet long. Last year in this bed, we did our potatoes. I saved most of our potatoes from the previous year to go to seed, and we planted a lot of Yukon Golds, red potatoes, and russets. I'm also kind of planning on doing the same thing here this year. Last year in this bed was kind of the hodgepodge collect-all bed of excess plants. I had some corn, there were some cucumbers, and a couple different squash varieties. This year I'm planning on just dedicating this one to mostly squash, like my zucchinis and the summer yellow squash. Moving on to the front row. This is a 4 foot wide by 20 foot long bed. We did all of our cucumbers in here last year. We did a lot of homemade pickles, pickle bush, lemon cucumbers, Sumter cucumbers. I had all of my Mexican sour gherkins on this trellis. I am also planning on doing cucumbers in here this year. All right, the second row here in the front is also a 4 foot wide by 20 foot long. This one had all of our kales, lettuces, and celery in it last year. I'm planning on switching it up this year and just dedicating this one to peppers. Okay, the next 6 rows are all 4 foot wide by 20 feet long, and these are all gonna house our tomatoes. They're already set up for the tomatoes. I have all of the cattle panels, and the irrigation is all ready for them, so it's gonna be like a plug and play situation this year. Next to all of my tomatoes, I'm planning on doing my onions, lettuces, carrots, radishes, some different herbs. The one thing I'm not planting next to my tomatoes are my brassicas. Brassicas are really heavy feeders, and they will inhibit the growth of your tomatoes. All right, the last 2 beds here on the front row of our raised bed garden. These are also 4 foot wide by 20 feet long. These are gonna mirror the back rows. These will also have potatoes, and then this will also be dedicated to squash. Well, that's gonna wrap up our first 2023 garden tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what everything looks like before I start cleaning up the beds, amending the beds, and even planting. So if you enjoyed the video today, please hit that thumbs up or even subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.